I'm
Do you
recording.
see it?
Yep, I started it.
You're okay, because I don't see the option to record. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you.
You're good.
Oh. That's fine. I'm sure I think that I cried.
So with the clicker, I'll just be able to advance it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All righty. Cody, let me talk to you for just a second.
Okay.
There is an issue with Kanawha County Schools. Maggie has been told one thing and Cassidy has been told another. And so they're feeling very stressed because they don't know what they're exactly supposed to do. Maggie was told that everyone was meeting together on Friday, and Cassidy was told that she's actually she'll be just with the OT and will be seeing patients. So I know you're traveling, but can you look into that for them and handle that to make sure that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing?
Who told them that?
Who told you about meeting together? Samantha. Samantha told Maggie that, but yet Cassidy was also told something different. So everybody just needs to be on the same page, and it's causing them much stress.
Well, that's what I was asking. Did Lori, was that who told Cassidy, and Sam told Maggie?
She told me they were meeting at 9, and I needed to pack a lunch at 5.
Okay, yeah, Cassidy was told that they were meeting at 9 and that they would be she'd be to pack a lunch and that they would be she'd be seeing patients.
Okay.
They just need to be on the same page to know what to expect.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to figure out is who do I need to reach out to? Did they both, are they getting different things from their CIs, or did they contact the same? I want to know who told them that.
Cassidy didn't know anything about this meeting together thing.
Okay. Well, what they'll do is they're just going to meet with their CIs, and then they'll go wherever they told them. They probably will be together for a second, just to introduce to each other, but they'll probably go with their individual CIs for a little while. But I'll contact the OTR Claudette and see what's going on.
Okay, maybe so, but it would be helpful if you could confirm that for them.
Yep. I probably will not until tomorrow, but I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay, very good.
All right.
So where's the clicker part?
I think I have it.
Okay. Okay.
So you can have your computer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Tracy, can you share your screen with me, please?
I thought I was.
I
thought I was. Okay, hang on.
For him to hear, because the mic is in your laptop.
Oh.
I think, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that not working? Or can you see her thing?
Yeah, I can see it.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, can you hear her?
Tell her to talk.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. Just make sure you keep about that volume because I can hear you, but just barely.
Okay, I'm moving closer. I'm moving closer because that's hard. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. I can hear you.
Okay, y'all ready? Are you ready, Professor Hamilton?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so I did chapter 25 on learning in later life. Here's a little quote from Henry Ford. Anyone who stops learning is old. Whether at 20 or 80, anyone who keeps learning stays young. The greatest thing in life is to keep your mind young. Do you all know who Henry Ford is?
He made the car.
He did. He did. President Ford? There's a president.
Gerald Ford, I think.
Yeah, that was Gerald Ford.
So this is the Ford Motor Company guy. Yes, he's very old. Is he old now? Okay, so chapter 25 discusses that teaching strategies for older adults 65 and up are extremely different than teaching an adult 18 to 65. Do you all know why it's harder? Can you repeat it? Yes. Teaching strategies for older adults 65 and up are extremely difficult and different than teaching an adult 18 to 65.
Is it because there's like deterioration?
Yeah, there's physical decline, cognitive decline, psychosocial decline, and physical changes happening. So I'm going to talk about the pedagogy approach. It is a teaching approach that recognizes the special needs of older adults related to learning and refers to the fine-tune and adult teaching and instructional styles and strategies to enhance the learning experience of older adults who are generally post-work, no longer raising families, and they are sometimes frail. It just discusses like the sensory system, psychosocial, cognitive, and social cultural environments that the older adult is going through. So I had to like bounce back and forth because chapter 25 was very broad and it kept taking me back to chapter 7 and 9. So I'm kind of going to bounce around a little bit. But the sensory system is from chapter 9, and it discusses that our bodies receive sensory information about the physical world through generalized and specialized sensory receptors. You all tell me what senses we're going to be talking about?
Hearing,
Yes.
vision,
Yes. Yes.
smell.
Yes. Good job. Okay.
On it.
These main senses have a great potential to influence effective communication with older adults during the teaching and learning processes. These changes need to be taken into consideration when structuring the learning environment, planning, and implementing the learning interventions, and when developing educational materials. So what considerations can occupational therapy practitioners take when creating written educational materials for older adults? Do you all know?
Bigger font.
Yeah.
Contrast.
Yes.
Incorporating pictures.
Pictures is a good one.
I want to say short sentences, but I want to make it seem like I think they're dumb.
No,
I was
just
thinking
get
that
to
too,
the
like,
point.
too much
Get to the point.
wordage.
Another thing that I found was interesting was using different size fonts. So don't use all capital letters because it'll just all blend together. So just mix everything in. Let's see what we're doing next.
Is there a reason why older people type in all caps all the time? Well, not all the time, but a lot. You know what I mean?
They might just not know how to take the caps off. That's what I'm guessing.
That's it.
I think so. My mother is like that, And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Yes. And I think it's just the overstimulating, and she doesn't know that she even has the caps lock on. I think it's just because this was introduced into her life really late in life, and it's not something that she just naturally flowed into. Sorry, I didn't mean to take your.
No, you're fine. Hit it right on the head. So occupational therapy practitioners need to be cautious of both normal and age-related health conditions specific to changes. So interfering with older adults' ability to process information, participate in educational and skill learning activities, demonstrate learning, or adopt a targeted behavior. Considerations an occupational therapy practitioner can take if an older adult is experiencing psychosocial or physical changes. If they're suffering from depression, just like take them away from that activity for a little bit and find something that is meaningful to them. And if they're tired from something that they did previously the day before, or even an exercise from before, just know to take frequent breaks throughout your session so they have time to rest. So the cognitive aspect. Let me see where I'm at here. Chapter 7 discusses 3 types of cognitive changes, tenet 1, 2, and 3. Tenet 1 is the cognitive aging is best understood using a developmental lifespan approach that considers cognitive development a lifelong process that begins with conception and ends with death. It's very beginning to end. Tenet 2 is cognitive aging occurs within a framework of gains, declines, stability, which means like multi-dimensional and multi-directional tasks and thinking. And then tenet 3 is cognitive aging is influenced by and incorporates a wide range of inner and intra-individual differences, including but not limited to lifestyle factors such as diet, exercise, health habits, and education. Let's see where I'm at. So slow speed of mental processing has implications of learning new information, and slow speed of mental processing is one of the core cognitive changes associated with normal aging. Considerations an occupational therapy practitioner can take when working with an older adult with cognitive changes is try teaching in like a step-by-step manner. I'll just throw it all to them, teach a little bit at a time, let them teach it back to you, then move on and adding information each time. Like a sequence. Social culture. I think this statistic was very interesting. I'm sure it is definitely increased since 2013, but in 2013, the United States has the second highest foreign-born populations at 12.8%. So I think that's kind of low, but maybe not. Canada was at 23.7, and they were the highest.
That's in here.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Wow.
I wonder why Canada would be so much better than ours.
Yeah. We don't like people in as much.
Yep.
But there's also how many people that come here illegal.
Right, that is true.
That would probably be part of it.
The one that was Germany was at like 12%, and they were right under us, and I thought that was very odd.
I think that they let a lot of immigrants and like people in. Like
Germany?
refugees? Yes.
Because Europe is more ebb and flow with their borders too.
Yeah, I feel like that those numbers would be higher for there because it's so close.
But if you move to like Britain, you probably have no reason to change your physical address, maybe.
I wonder what like
Because you're all part of the European Union. I guess Great Britain.
They didn't mention China at all.
Did anybody go to Russia? No. Oh, I know even before the war.
And although there may be some commonalities among ethnic, racial, culture, and religious groups, it is important for occupational therapy practitioners not to stereotype or generalize common characteristics of the socio and ethnical culture groups. Moving right along. So now we're going to discuss learning and memory. The memory theory underlines our understanding of learning, and it separates many types of memory and learning: short-term, long-term, memory traces, declarative and non-declarative learning, and then procedural memory. The proprioceptive memory refers to remembering to do something in a future based on time. So episodic memory refers to memories with personal connections, such as an autobiographic memory, like who, what, time, when, and how. And all new learning is episodic memory. This is also associated with Alzheimer's disease. So it's something to keep in mind. And then somatic memory refers to factual memory. Pathology involving only the somatic memory system leads to loss of understanding on meaning of words, which has implications of expressive and receptive communication. And somatic memory is associated with dementia.
I wonder why it's different.
In the book, it says it's very similar. I guess just the way that your brain is processing information. I'm not really sure. I didn't get back the chapter like I should.
No, I was just, sometimes I just speak when I'm thinking about that. I need to just shut up.
No. Keep talking, it's fine. Let's see here. So prospective memory refers to remembering to do something in the future based on time, and it is grouped into two categories: time-based prospective memory and event-based prospective memory. Time-based prospective memory, or remembering to do something in the future based on needs or circumstances. And then event-based is hypothesizing to be more related to executive functions. I've like read over this multiple times, but the motor learning table 25.1 is very helpful. It breaks down the cognitive, associative, and autonomous learning stages. So that might be good for exams, but motor learning is defined as a set of processes associated with practice or experience learning to relatively permanent changes in a is capable for movement. The three stages of the model of motor learning provides a sequential framework for occupational therapy practitioners to adopt as they consider, plan, and organize motor learning strategies for older adults. Cognitive learning is the beginning of learning the process phases in which the learner is working to develop and understand all of the skills. The learner must focus and pay attention. This stage involves the cognitive components, including executive functioning, working, the episodic memory, and intellectual abilities. Get it? Okay. Associative learning is the phase in which the skill improves with practice, cognitive involvement decreasing during this phase. This phase is characterized by more consistent performance, fewer errors, and slower gains. Then autonomous learning is the stage in which processes become automatic, performance speed and efficiency improves, the cognitive functions, including the cognitive phases, are not required, and the daily performance tasks are often overlearned. They become more automatic, and thus the procedural memory is also maintained with aging. Learning later in life. According to Schiller, learning later in life is the necessary lubricant for dynamics of opportunity and activity for older adults. Older adults are to remain engaged in meaningful and productive activities as they grow older. There's a need for continuous training in the workplace and lifelong learning opportunities within the community. And then lifelong learning may be undertaken for a variety of purposes, and they comprise of Formal learning, which is formal education or training for the purpose of gaining a normal or a formal aware of qualification or credentials and other accredited outcomes, so like university learning or on the job training, where you get like a certificate. Non-formal learning is structures or education of training that does not lead to a recognized qualification or credential. And then informal learning takes place through unstructured, uninstitutionalized learning and are related to personal interests from your work or family. Learning and older adult health. Why do you think older adults engage in learning?
Because they have to.
Keep up with the times. So just like something to do. They find something interesting, they want to follow through on it.
The book just kind of mentions the learning is complex and multidimensional, so they're learning about a bunch of different things. The motivation, they want to learn new things to keep up with their kids and their grandkids, and then keeping the mind active. And it is a way to have social interaction with their friends and family. Why do you think education plays a big role in learning in the older adult health?
You might have to learn slightly differently than you're used to.
Good job. And then, do you know the benefits of participating in learning for older adults?
To keep your cognitive and your cognition sharp.
Yeah. Good job, guys. This might be my last slide. Health literacy. Most older adults have at least one chronic condition, and many have multiple chronic conditions, like we learned yesterday. And learning needs to be related to the health are typically more complex and greater for older adults compared to any other age group. Health literacy refers to the ability of individuals to gain access to understand or use information in ways that promote and maintain good health. And then health literacy is influenced by cognitive, social skills, basic literacy, communication skills of health professionals and the healthcare systems. The knowledge assessment. Very short, but don't you all think over these and then we can talk about them? These ones are just matching, like the first ones and the yes or no.
Call on somebody,
Okay.
because nobody's answering.
Cassidy.
Oh, I thought you were just thinking a little
I
bit.
did too.
I'll tell you guys think. Which one do you think connects to dementia? You know? It's okay. Huh? It is. Good job. What about short-term memory? Which one do you think that one goes to?
Okay, rapidly.
Yeah, good job. Episodic memory.
Where, what, when, why, how.
Good job.
Okay.
And the last one.
Considered
Long-term memories. And then do you all want to answer the last one as a group?
No.
Yay! Good job. What is it? Yes.
I feel like sometimes they even write that way. Like if they're literally writing all uppercase.
Might just be easier for them.
And I feel like they all write in cursive too,
Cursive.
and cursive is a lot of
Yeah.
bigger. So now I have a video, and it just kind of talks about guidelines.
What is that word?
So in the book, it was spelled like this, but everywhere else it's spelled with an N.
Oh.
Like a GERO, and it would be like GERA. So I'm not really sure.
Geography. I don't know. I'm butchering that word.
Geography.
Yeah, it's the how you teach.
Geography.
You know,
What a terrible word.
It is terrible. I like listening to everybody try to pronounce it though.
Why is
That's
the
a
word
word.
in the American language?
I don't know how to click on this, so you might have to. The link
oh, ew, it's
or
not.
copy it or something.
Okay, hang on. Let me.
All right, here we go. Found it. Geology. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. Hold on. Wrong one. That was the wrong one. Hold on. This one.
Garagagi.
All right, it was spelled with an A in that one.
Yeah,
Why is that one
I
wrong?
don't know.
So I guess it would just be Garagagi.
I don't think that's it.
A copy.
That's an
and
ad.
It's an ad. It's just taking forever to load.
I'm
Ah,
sure you've heard how Grammarly improves your writing. Learning is vital for seniors to stay active and engaged. Seniors are unique, with different learning needs, different pace of learning, and different personal experiences. While there is pedagogy for children's learning and andragogy for adult learning, there isn't a set of guidelines for seniors' learning and teaching. This is why a specialized set of guidelines for senior learning is needed to create a positive learning experience and better learning outcomes. Introducing Gerogogy Guidelines, the first senior learning guidelines that will enhance the overall.
it's. Okay.
If it doesn't work, I can just send it out.
It's thinking.
Is this video from Singapore?
It's still just turning. It's not like acting like it's advancing at all.
It's okay.
Well, tell us what the video is about, Allie.
It just explains that there's different steps to categorize yourself into which, like the cognitive, the different categories.
Oh.
And there's like assessments that you have to take. It's like a little process.
Okay.
Well, yeah, just send that out to everyone and send it to me as well because I'd like to look at that.
Training in every standard.
Whoa.
It is developed by the Council for Third Age in collaboration with Singapore University of Social Sciences. To develop the Gerogogy Guidelines, information was gathered from various stakeholders and sources through surveys, interviews, focus group discussions, and local.
It's not keeping up with, yeah.
I can send it out. Covered in the guidelines. Understanding seniors and their challenges.
That might be better because I.
Traits of effective training.
Good job. All right. Now let's. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
Good job.
All right. Let me see. I know I.
Make sure that everybody fills out this peer review forms today before you leave. Okay.
Oh, the eval forms, and they're laying on my desk. Yes, I will get those. I'll get those.
Like our evals of talent.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I'm excited for crafting. Yeah. Remember, we can talk. I know you said therapy.
Mine has way too many bubbles now. It's all bubbles.
Okay. Does the clicker working for you?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so I have chapter 26, which is about spirituality, and whether or not you know it, you are a spiritual person. It's based on the three definitions that we will go over. God, force, or just. So the goals for today, to define spirituality, understand our role in spirituality as practitioners, and mention ideas to approach motivations. Anybody want to take a swing at what spirituality is? Okay,
A book definition?
this is what you think spirituality means to you. Okay,
How I keep myself at peace.
I think just
so like a
thinking
force.
there's something else, an energy out there.
Okay, so being spiritual means that you're of or related to a spirit. You believe in a force or something that animates life. Or you have the desire to seek a presence in your life. So that could be Jesus or it could be peace. And sorts of things. It could be like serving God or Yahweh or Allah. Or, I don't know, there's people that like crystals. That gives them energy and stuff like that. So there are three different types. There's religious, sacred, and secular. So, like Jennifer said, God, Yahweh, Jesus would be a religious sector, which means that you need an organized building, you have a set of doctrines, kind of a code of conduct you follow, like you can't do certain things, you can do certain things. The second one is a sacred, which is like a spirit or a force that's beyond our human understanding, and it's not necessarily aligned with any religion. You don't have like a certain meeting point, but you may have a desire for like a community. So joining Facebook groups or like meeting in public dining halls and stuff like that to talk about the spirits and forces you believe are dominating your life. The third one would be secular, which is understood by humans and perceived by our senses, which is science and laws. So we all are spiritual people in the end. We know that gravity exists. Law of science. So
Gravity?
that is a force. So
Right.
literally. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between religion and spirituality. As stated before, religion is like a human-made organization existing to honor and celebrate their specific spirit. There are different subsections of religions, and then within those are either different types of doctrines or beliefs or different codes you follow. That's when you get into the topic of like organized religion, which would be you're a Christian, but maybe you go to Church of God, or maybe you're a Baptist, or maybe you don't go to church at all because you don't believe in organized religion, but you still count yourself as Christian. You follow specific schedules, like praying schedules, or using beads and stuff like that. Spirituality does not require a structured organization. So like I said before, if you're a Christian, but you don't want to be a part of an organization. Spiritual people often seek out organized religion to fulfill their own needs for support of community. Anybody else tell me why they may want to seek out other people? What do you get in a group setting? You guys support. Like a kind of a therapy. Socialize, most of the time there's food. Okay, so what can we do? So we are holistic healthcare practitioners. That means mind, body, and spirit. So we can take their deficits and we can view them through a spiritual aspect if that's what's important to the patient. So people have always been interested in a higher power. And we've all thought about it before. Or even in this church, maybe not. We are often people that get the question, why is this happening to me? Am I being punished? Is this some kind of trial I have to go through? If I break my leg and not be able to walk for some reason? And those answers that you're going to give your patients are based on what you believe. And sometimes if you don't agree with what they believe, maybe don't say anything and say, I don't think this is appropriate because I don't believe this is punishment. I think this just happened. And that actually may be offensive, so I think you're going to have to go in through it person by person. There is actually the Canadian model of occupational therapy, which we love, and it puts spirituality at the core of a person. So you look at their spirit, and then you build off of that, what they believe is like controlling their energy and their force and what animates them, just part of their volition to do stuff. So when we're asked, like, why is this happening to me, or is someone punishing me, use your own understanding of your spirituality. So maybe that's something you should figure out before you start treating patients, especially if you've been people that are later in life. Speaking of your life, there is an abundance of evidence that spirituality takes on a special meaning in life. Is anybody alive? Like later in life, why do you think spirituality is so important to people? We're supposed to know. Like maybe they want to find a purpose towards the end, or where they're going.
You might want to go to heaven.
Yes, maybe. Okay, this may be due to increased proximity to death, or because they were very religious in their past, but because they have gone to a nursing facility or living in the hospital, they haven't been able to be associated with organized religion. It gives them a sense of faith, community, and connectedness to others, which increases their hope and confidence in later. Some common themes in later life include the emphasis on a spiritual world, not a material world. So they're more interested in what's going to happen after they die versus what's going to happen at their home. Nobody cares what happens to their home extra little. So they're thinking more about themselves, and they maybe become a little bit more egotistical, thinking that they deserve to go to heaven. They're more focused on death, space, and time because they are die soon. So how do we know when to approach spirituality with the patient? There's some like indirect and direct ways they can tell you that they're needing some spiritual guidance. They can explicitly tell you that they're needing a spiritual guide or needing a sense of community, such as they want to go back to church, watch virtual. They don't know how, so you can teach them how to do that. Or you can even try to be part of like a small group, and wherever they're staying or within their community, maybe you can ask somebody to church to give them a ride to church if they're able to. You may see them publicly performing rituals when you walk into a room or certain times of the day, maybe before they eat, stuff like that. Just figure out a way to be the most respectful that you can in the situation. You may see the displays of faith, such as crosses, prayer beads, prayer mats, stuff like that. Just be very respectful and ask them if they want to talk about it and if maybe it's really important to their goals. So maybe ask them if they need to get down on their knees and pray on their prayer mat. That's going to be very important to your treatment sessions. So they're not going to really participate in that to live in their spiritual stuff. So how can we incorporate spirituality? First, we have to know what those symbols. So, we all have phones. Google what you see in a room and see what you need to be respectful of. So we were telling us to get lady pork rinds. Didn't know, but now it does. So maybe look those things up. Don't be offensive. And if you are, make sure you apologize. So if you don't feel qualified or comfortable talking about certain religions, find a qualified care guide. If your facility allows it, maybe set up a Zoom call with a spiritual guide, and maybe even try to be a part of it and see if you can learn how to become competent in that too, if you feel comfortable. I don't really know the rules on us becoming competent in spiritual guiding, but if that's something you're interested in, maybe look it up.
Wasn't there like a lot of hospitals, like, I know, Wheeling Hospital had like, oh my gosh, when my mom was in there, like multiple different types of
Mhm.
religious people. came in.
Chaplains and,
So many.
you know,
So,
yeah.
And if you're interested in it, maybe you can become one too. I don't know the qualifications. Where you have to get. But always be genuine. Find a specialist if you can't feel like you're being genuine because the patient will know and they will trust you. Or they will no longer want to seek services with occupational therapy. Allow the client appropriate materials to engage. So say they need prayer beads. Maybe you could turn that into an intervention of making them, if that's something that they do. Or you could turn it into like a group community setting where you can find other people in the same, maybe not exact same, because that's so hard with different types of denominations. But maybe you can put together Christians or a bunch of Hindus and talk about there are so many different subsets of stuff. So maybe you can just get them all talking. They kind of all have the same beliefs a little bit. So maybe if you can do something like that. The socialization is always good. So the book often uses the word rituals. My mind immediately goes to like blood sacrifices and candles in a circle. But that's not what it means in our context. It means like traditions. So when I think of tradition, I think of like Easter eggs right before Easter. So I brought those in, so I'll share one of my traditions with you. So anybody want to share one of yours? And we do on Christmas or Thanksgiving.
I like to go around and look at Christmas lights, you know, with hot
Enjoy
chocolate.
nature. Anybody else?
Christmas Eve is when my family celebrates Christmas. We just get together and play games and eat food. Or competitive, but it's fun.
So that's kind of like what my family does too. When we all put it together. Always open only like one gift for Christmas. Or individual things. That makes sense. But there's things that everybody does or in religions. You can go on YouTube and search spiritual rituals. Some of them are pretty offensive. I was talking to Isaiah about it once, like I can't play any of these videos because it says like weirdest rituals. Top 10 around the country, and I'm like, that's really rude. There are some, I saw this one. It's actually illegal in most parts of India now, but they still do it. I guess maybe the government just doesn't want to condone the act, but they take babies to like the tops of their roofs one day a year, all the new babies that were born a year. And there are like 10 men on the ground holding sheets. And they throw the baby, and if the baby like lands, like, I think it's if they don't bounce more than a certain amount of time, it's good fortune. So if
or
they
you
die,
can maybe
it's bad
concussion.
fortune. So you can look into that one if you want. That was pretty interesting.
Wow.
There are other religions where eating your ancestors when you pass away is very sacred to them. So if that's something your patient feels, you gotta make your face very neutral.
Oh, they leave the corpse out too
Yes.
for a long time.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to make yourself very neutral if that is something that you do not feel comfortable with. And that's when you would find a spiritual guide. So there are actually like a few intervention ideas we can do to incorporate spirituality into a treatment session. Appreciation of nature, such as walking or sitting by a lake, is often associated with the same sense of awe people get with a spiritual force or energy experience. When you look at Christmas lights outside, maybe you feel peace and happiness and comfort. So that is like something we may be able to do, maybe set up Christmas lights with somebody if they can't go anywhere, put them on a bush outside or something. Art can be an unconstrained expression of spirituality. That lady we watched, who used her feet to paint, that it made her feel calm, peaceful, and like back into her normal routine. So that's something we can do with people. Work allows an individual to feel a sense of belonging and rhythm. You're doing the same thing every day, maybe like calms your mind and your spirit. Movement allows some physical connection to the earth or your body. So most people like go hiking, so they feel connected to the earth, scenery and stuff. Maybe Isaiah can tell you about it. Okay. So finally, here are my questions. Can anybody tell me how spirituality and religion is different?
Religion is man-made.
Which one makes it an organized building?
Religion.
Can anybody tell me what a ritual is?
Tradition.
And I gave you some intervention ideas. So art, walking through nature, maybe even playing music. I know people associate their religion with music a lot. What are some ways that you can incorporate that into the treatment session? So think of art projects. What's an art project you could do?
So maybe the prayer beads. Yeah, that was a good one. Listening to their, like, if they have certain music that's based off their spirituality or their religion, listening to that.
Making a palm leaf from Palm Sunday
Yeah.
the Catholics and
Yeah.
do like a cross. Yeah.
There are just so many different things that you can incorporate, and even kind of with like older kids. I mean, I know a lot of like teenagers are like really into the crystals right now, which I honestly don't get it. I don't, but that may be something that's important to them. So you gotta find a way to incorporate it.
You gotta
That's
feel
what
it.
they tell you. Yeah, I don't get it, but they do. So more power to them. So now I'm going to share one of my family's traditions with you. Decorate some Easter eggs. And I thought maybe you could bring it to the nursing home with you and teach people how to use a grabber with it. It's big enough to practice with. If you want. I don't care.
All right. Okay. I'm going to thank you. I know we're not done. Here are the, if you want to go ahead and do one for Allison, one for Professor Dindler, you're really cutting out a lot, so I don't know how much you were able to hear, but that they both did very well.
Yeah, I could hear all of Cassidy's. She did a really good job too. Yeah, just make sure that they get those peer review forms and all that good stuff, and make sure that they know to do their case study that's due tonight.
Okay, we can understand.
He said, make sure you get the review forms and make sure we all do our case.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
All righty. He could interpret that. I couldn't interpret it. It was just wah, 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 wah.
No worries.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right,
I'll
we're
see
gonna
you guys
go.
in person tomorrow. You guys have a good afternoon. Be safe.
All right, we're gonna go paint Easter eggs.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Bye.